Chris Krok on News Talk 820 WBAP and now 93.3 FM. How are you? Well, this is pretty amazing. Something else here. Mayor Eric Adams has filed a lawsuit against us. He has filed a lawsuit for $700 million, $708 million. I'm glad he got the 8 in there. Because he wants damages for what he says he's already spent to care for the illegals, Joe's illegals. I like how he's pretending these are Governor Abbott's illegals. That once Joe Biden lets the illegals into Texas, we must pay for everything. Do you honestly think that's a viable thing? Like, when did we sign up to care for the illegals? All of them. I know that we are on the border, okay? But I've never heard anyone, leftist, pro-illegal, everything, I've never heard anybody say that because we're on the border as a border state that we should pay for every illegal in perpetuity. That's what Mayor Adams is saying. Mayor Adams is in effect saying in his lawsuit, and by the way, Governor Kathy Hochul says that she supports this 100%. And I've never heard, though, anybody say that we should have to pay for it. And I guess what Mayor Adams is saying and Governor Hochul is saying is that the illegals have no right. Once Joe Biden gives them clear passage into this country, did you know that 6.3 million of Joe's illegals are in our country waiting to have their cases adjudicated? They won't show up. Everybody knows that. 6.3 million have been set free. Now, don't forget the 1.5 million roughly gotaways that are terrorists, rapists, murderers, sex traffickers, cartel members, you name it. But so Governor Hochul and Mayor Eric Adams think that the illegals have a right to be here. And though they're a sanctuary city and they love them, some illegals, they think that once the illegals come across the border into Texas, that they should not be allowed to leave the state of Texas. That's what they're saying. You know that? They're saying the illegal has no freedom of movement. Illegals are not free to go from Texas to any other state, particularly New York State, because they say they're a sanctuary state, but they don't want any illegals. They don't want them. They pretend. They're extremely friendly to illegals until a few too many show up. Then they're like rabidly against them. But isn't that amazing? That's in effect what they're saying. You do not, as an illegal, have a right to leave the state of Texas. You cannot come to our state or any other state. And if you do, Texas has to pay for them. Can anybody explain to me how that's a good argument? Now, all we're doing as a state is providing transportation to where they want to go in their own native tongue. They sign and read and sign and date the agreement saying, yes, I want to go there. Yes, I acknowledge this. I want this. I want to go to New York. We saw today, Bill Malugin, Fox News' Bill Malugin, reporting from the border, and you may or may not have heard his soundbite today of an illegal from Africa, Senegal, holding up a New York State ID at one of the border breaches. And there he held it up, and he was begging a Border Patrol officer who would not let him come in through that breach. Please, sir, let me in. Oh, please, sir. A dude from Senegal, Africa. Malugin said, hundreds and hundreds of illegal men, military-aged illegal men from Africa came in today. Send them all to New York. Well, that guy wants to go there. Somehow he got a state ID from New York. We are being raped every day by the world. You know that? That's what's happening. That is literally what's happening. The world is raping us. And they're they're pillaging us. Not pillaging us. They're, what do you call it? They're rape and pillaging us. They're raping us, pillaging us. They're just taking everything from us. and we're supposed to pay for it all in Texas. So I say HE double hockey sticks no. And I think Governor Abbott must continue, should do this, and I think it's fantastic. And I got to ask you a few questions, too, about Mayor Adams. Why now? Why are you suing now? Dude, you've already put $1 to $3 billion in, and you've not. Why now? What all of a sudden happened now? This great harm comes only now? Get out of here. So I'm not an attorney, though I certainly am a radio guy, which makes me very smart. This is brain surgery. What we do here every day is brain surgery. We all know that. People say, well, this isn't brain surgery. It's not rocket science. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I wanted to ask you if you, actually one question on this. As Dwayne would say, one question. Do you think New York City Mayor Eric Adams might have a good case to sue Governor Abbott and the busing companies over who are taking all these illegals up to their city? Or do you think it's a no-brainer that there is no case? You don't have to be a lawyer. It's not legal merits. It's just as you look at this from your side, do you think there's a case here? Or do you think there's no case, and why? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. So this is obviously stupid, and it's a joke, and the illegals are not imprisoned in Texas. It's not our job to take care of them. It's Joe Biden's job, since he lets them all in, to take care of them. He's not, so we're just sending them where they want to go. A lot of them want to go to New York. A lot of them want to go to Chicago, and a lot of them want to go to Denver. Enjoy. We're helping them get to where they want to go. Nobody's forcing them. So and by the way, here's the thing. There's a New York state law. As a non-attorney, I do get a little worried when I see this. There's a New York state law that requires anyone who brings in a, quote, needy person from out of state for the purposes of making them a public charge to either take them out of the state or support them. But here's the thing. I don't know. There's so many intricacies on this, but are you a needy person if you can work? Are you a needy person if you pay $10,000 to get here? I don't know. There's so many ifs or unknowns here. But the other thing is, too, these are not citizens of the United States of America, so I don't know. That'll be interesting. I pray to God this case we don't lose it, and I'm pretty confident just looking at this. So there's got to be some great arguments. I have no clue, but Governor Abbott's not slowing down, and he is going more and more and more. My favorite thing to see is what he's been doing in New Jersey. He's putting these illegals, he's busing them into New Jersey since Governor Abbott is impounding Mayor Adams is impounding the buses, threatening to arrest them or ticket the drivers, etc. No problem. What they're doing now is they're busing them to New Jersey and dumping them off at the train station that's on the line that goes directly into New York City from New Jersey. It is beautiful, and the state of New Jersey is like, screw that. In fact, let me read you what the New York Post said today. This is amazing. F this, full word of F this, but they, of course, kind of blurred it out. New York Post. I'm holding it up for the Facebook Live listeners, viewers, at Chris Krok Show. Follow me on Facebook, at Chris Krok Show, ChrisKrok. F this is what the New Jersey politicians that were debating this said. According to the New York Post today, New Jersey transit cops are waiting at the station for them, and they're just literally escorting them into New York City. So obviously, Mayor Adams must sue and go after the state of New Jersey now, right? Absolutely. Watch for Governor Abbott to next go to Indiana. Growing up in Chicago, for example, the dealerships, they say your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana dealerships, on the commercials. So Northwest Indiana is part of the metropolitan Chicago area. Closer into the city from Gary is a cesspool and a disaster where the late Michael Jackson grew up. But if you go west of there... Thank you, Michael. If you go west of there, you go into Chicago. So look for him to dump off some illegals in Indiana, as it were. Okay, stand by. We're going to take your call coming up next at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Do you think New York City Mayor Eric Adams might have a good case to sue our governor and the busing companies taking all the illegals up there to the city? Or do you think it's a no-brainer that there really is no case because it's not our job to maintain them and hold them if they want to leave. Nobody can hold them. That's illegal too right there, isn't it? Also, I want to tell you how many hundreds of thousands of people have gone through the Darien Gap in 2023 alone, coming up through Panama to make the journey to come up here illegally and be one of Joe's illegals. It's shocking. Also, what Joe Biden is being mocked for today regarding the illegal invasion. All that next. Chris Krok on News Talk 820 WBAP and 93.3 FM. Chris Krok Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, 93.3 FM. All right, so New Jersey deploys cops to send dumped illegal migrants into New York City in desperate move. F this, they said. One source told the New York Post today. And I love that. Since Saturday, 23 Texas buses have dropped off over 1,000 illegal asylum seekers in New Jersey. 953 of them boarding trains to go to Manhattan. The mayor of Edison, New Jersey, is saying he wants to bus them back to Texas. Come and take it, buddy. We'll bus them right back and drop them right back off. It'll be fun. Let's play. You want to play? Let's play. All right? And then New York City has reached out to every single town along the line that comes into the city on the rail. I love that. See, I told you, they're freaking them out all in the small towns, counties. Grundy County, Illinois. I don't even know where that is, and I grew up in Chicago. And that's way the heck outside of the city. That ain't anywhere near the burbs, dude. So all of them are flipping out. There's bus stops, or what do you call it, exits on the highway going towards Chicago that say we don't accept illegals here. They say it a little nicer, but yes, they put up signs, which is exactly, when you see it, you go, oh, they're going to drop off right there. There you go, right there. Because you know what else too, which is cool? At these stops, when they see a bus pull up, they're not worried, right? These are private busing companies. So when they see a private bus pull up, they're like, hey, it's Chris Krok and his relatives and his friends and his neighbors and people from Texas that are coming up to Chicago for the weekend to gamble and smoke weed and lose all their money and hopefully not get shot and killed, right? Whatever, you know what I'm saying? There's a whole busload of people coming up. Hey, and they'll get off and they're like, uh-oh, wait, uh-oh. But they don't know. And if they say something, they're racists. So they have to, and the bus driver's like, okay, bye. Boom, gone. Woohoo! I love this. We have put the fear of God, I might be exaggerating a little bit, we've struck the fear into these people. I'll just say it, the fear of God. We're terrorizing all these towns and communities. Ha-ha! Go and make a little deposit over there. And so I love that. Mayor Adams announcing with the backing of Governor Kathy Hochul that they are going to sue for $708 million for the cost of Joe Biden's illegals. And somehow we helped them get there, but they want to go there, and somehow we're supposed to pay for them and keep them, and the illegals not allowed to leave their own any state that they enter. They're not allowed, they have no freedom of motion. They're supposed to be under arrest here or something. I don't know. Can you imagine if we arrested them all? In fact, we're trying to do that, and Joe Biden's suing us, right? We have a law for trespassing that allows us to arrest them. We're doing that. Thousands have been arrested and put in jail for 2 to 4 weeks or so, maybe a little longer, a little less. And then they get released. They say it's the worst time ever. I've shared that with you. And now we're going to arrest them in about a month and a half, 2 months. About 2 months, we're going to arrest them and say we're going to drop you off on the other side of the border here, or we're going to put you in jail for up to 10 years. What do you want? And Joe's suing us for that. So hold on a second. How can Eric Adams say we have to keep them here, but yet Joe says you can't keep them here. You can't keep them restrained or constrained, a la put them in jail and hold them. You can't put them in holding things. You can't do any of this. So then why are we getting sued when they want to go to New York City anyways? Isn't that amazing? I think we got a case here. I don't know. I think he does not have a case here. Governor Abbott's nonplussed. He's not worried. He says that. I hope he means it. Meantime, 500,000 people went through the treacherous, The Guardian calls it, Darien Gap. The Darien Gap is the jungle between Colombia and Panama. And that's where the illegals begin going up. They come up from South America, Venezuela, Ecuador, Haiti, China, all these illegals that are just feasting on us, invading us, come up. And so 500,000 through just that little Darien Gap. It's a very narrow, dangerous, treacherous jungle where there's tons of people getting raped, murdered, everything along that journey. Meantime, Joe Biden, I don't know if you caught this today. I play it for you, but you can't hear anything. Fox News played it, but they have a little thing where you can, on the TV screen where they spell it out for you. So I'm not going to play because you won't even hear anything. But Joe Biden was asked about this as he was getting off his plane from part of his 37% of vacationing this past year when he was in St. Croix. And he was asked about the border with his illegal invasion that he's allowed for 3 years, or he's encouraged and allowed. So he was asked about that, and he said, well, we got to do something. And then he said, the Republicans ought to give me the money I need to protect the border. I love that. Protect the border? You're not protecting the border. You just want more money to stamp and process illegals and change diapers. Even today at the border, Ted Cruz did a joint press conference. I don't know if you caught this. He did a joint press conference with Henry Cuellar, who came on my show not too long ago, last month, actually. And Cuellar said, we need to hire part-time, or what did he say, civilians that can process these illegals so that the Border Patrol can do their job. Obviously, he also is against this invasion, but even as a moderate Democrat, he's against it. But the point being is our Border Patrol is, as he said, doing diapers and, taking in intake forms. It's a disgrace, and we all know it. 800-288-WBAP is our number. That's 800-288-9227. Coming up next on the Chris Krok program, Joe Biden's campaign staff. Oh, I love this. His campaign staff, not his staff at the White House, not his interns who already did this. His campaign staff, the people that are working to get him reelected, just literally wrote up a letter anonymously demanding that he do a ceasefire with, he forced Israel to do a ceasefire with Hamas, demanding it. And they wrote him a letter, but it's anonymous. Nobody puts their name on it. We're going to talk about that coming up next. I'll share some of the tidbits from that wonderful letter on the Chris Krok program, News Talk 820 WBAP and 93.3 FM. Chris Krok Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, 93.3 FM. Joe Biden's got another problem on his hand with staffers. This is campaign staffers. These are people that are working to get him reelected. And unfortunately for him, they are angry about his Israel policy. And so this is the second time something like this has happened. This is a new one. Look at this. 17 current Joe Biden campaign staffers called directly on him to push for a permanent ceasefire in the months-long conflict, reports the Politico today. As your staff, we believe it's a moral and electoral imperative for you to be publicly calling for a cessation of violence. They anonymously signed it and posted it on a website named Medium. Dude, if your staff who's working on getting you reelected, let's just say it's your company, okay, or your employees. If your employees wrote a letter demanding you do something and then posted it publicly on a social media or on a website, what would you do? What would you do if this was your staff? That instead of talking to you about their grievances, taking them to you or to, whoever whoever the next logical person is in charge, right? Because I've been taught, you go to your supervisor. You don't go over if you go over your supervisor's head, that's really bad. That's really bad because you're literally making your supervisor look bad, and you don't do that, man. So these guys who are working to get him elected did this. And this is insane. You take your complaint publicly and attack the ultimate guy that's the head of everything. He's the company, if you will. So they got to be fired. Instead, Joe Biden is taking them out to a party. He's literally throwing them a party. Did you catch this? He's throwing a party for them. He's planning to throw a morale booster party, Fox News says today, amid renewed discontent among the administration staff over its Israel policy. Biden's millionaire chief of staff, Jeff Zients, will throw an off-campus party, quote unquote, for hundreds of staffers to celebrate their work and give over the last 3 years and give them a boost heading into what could be his final year in office. The plans come as senior Biden education official. I don't know if you caught this. This was kind of a blip yesterday, but the plans come as one senior Biden education official resigned in protest to his policy with Israel. Good. Get out of here. Man. So what would you do if this was your staff? I would. I've said this before because, listen, we had this happen again previously in November. I don't know if you remember this. In November, look at this. In November, 500 political appointees and staff members from 40 government agencies anonymously signed one letter, and another letter included the names of 500 alumni of his 2020 campaign. And then the other thing is, remember the interns did this too? This is like the fourth iteration of this. Do you remember when his interns did that? When are your interns? We demand you stop the violence in Gaza. Okay, dude. What's that, producer Garrett? Never just an intern, you said? Never trust an intern. Are you channeling the Monica Lewinsky angle? I was thinking about that today for a minute with that's exactly right. Thank you, producer Garrett. Clinton and the Bill Clinton and the Epstein thing, and how it was mentioned in the documents that just came out in the past 24 hours on Bill Clinton. It said that one of the girls that was being raped, one of the victims of pedophilia, one of these girls was told by Epstein, quote, in the documents, Bill Clinton likes him young, Epstein told her. And so I thought about that when that was in my head, and it came across one of the things I was listening to for news, and I'm like, that is exactly along the Lewinsky thing. She was an intern. She wasn't 25 or something. You know what I mean? She wasn't a minor, but she was 18, 19? I don't know, something like that. Anyway, But here's what you do. Here's what I would do if I was Joe Biden. I would have them all come together in a theater, right? There's got to be a kind of a theater there where you can have a seminar. What do you call it? Where you can have like 300, 400 people in a room. Conference room, whatever. Where you show a movie or whatever, you have a stage there, whatever. They've got that over there. They've got something there where they can do a presentation with an audience that's 100, 200 people in it. You bring them in there and you play all of them. You say you got a mandatory meeting tomorrow. You play the first thing in the morning. You play the 47-minute video from the Israeli government that shows the rape, the pillaging, the destruction and the murder and the disgusting satanic things that many of us have seen in clips of videos. And then at the end of it, you say, okay, we wanted you to see what happened. And that is why we're doing what we're doing. And that is why the only thing our enemy understands is to kill him. At the entrance now, you need to go out to the entrance. And at the entrance, the Secret Service is there. They're going to take your IDs and your badges. And you've been terminated. We wish you the best. That's it. You're gone. Because when you allow people to take charge and attack you publicly like that, that means they're running the show and you're not, and they're undermining you. This is bad. So anyway, I'm sure it doesn't surprise you, but this is really bad. How about you? What would you do if you were Joe Biden? What would you do if you were Joe Biden, and do you think he'll do what he should do in response to these campaign staffers and their demands? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. As your staff, we believe it's a moral and electoral imperative for you to publicly call for a cessation of violence. The anonymously signed letter posted online today said, Complicity, they said complicity in the death of over 20,000 Palestinians, 8,200 of whom are children, simply cannot be justified. They're using the Hamas numbers. The only numbers to come out of Gaza are from the terrorist Hamas. They provide all the numbers. And what the Wall Street Journal does in their news reporting, not their opinion stuff, is they, in the same sentence or in the sentence immediately following, when they give the numbers, they say, these are numbers provided by Hamas. That way you know that you shouldn't believe them. It includes terrorists and women and children. And the men don't wear uniforms. So when somebody's dead, they don't know if they're a terrorist. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to be. Remember, the Wall Street Journal published a survey last month in December that said that 44% of every single Gazan, 44% of every Palestinian loves Hamas, supports them right now. So they love, and I'm going to talk a little bit later during this show. I'm going to talk a little bit later about this. There are a lot of these hostages that are talking now. Some of them don't give much. I'm not knocking them. Mia Shem is the one who's she's saying little things here and there, and I'm not knocking her because she's a tremendous victim. She was kidnapped and all that stuff, but she's saying little things. And every time I read it, it's like the story's clickbait. There's nothing in there. There's a lot of these ones coming out. They're all horrific. I'm not saying anything negative about any of them, but what I will say is this. I don't talk about them because there's so many things coming out every day, right? This one I'm going to talk about a little later. What is it? It is one of the women who, after 60 days or something like that, was freed. And she gave a first interview to Fake News CNN today. And when she was freed, every one of those terrorist-loving Palestinians, thousands of them, she said, down the street lined it and were banging on the car. She thought they were going to kill her and drag her out of the car and drag her. They wanted to kill that Jew. They wanted to rape and kill that Jew. Those are our Palestinian friends. Oh, we love you. Oh, we'll ignore you saying rape and kill the Jews. Yes, we'll ignore your hatred of freedom and democracy and our Jewish brothers and sisters. Yeah, we'll ignore that. Oh, you're great. Oh, we'll ignore that. HE double hockey sticks, no. I'm going to go in depth on that story a little bit later, and you got to hear that. But that's a good way to tap this off let these people know before you fire them. Here's why my position is this, and now you're fired. Hand your passes and your security stuff in, you're out. That's it. If they start yelling, free Palestine, all right, arrest them and throw them out of here. That's it. They're insurrectionists. Right? Insurrection! Biden just dropped a new ad, by the way. I just retweeted it. Not that you want to see it per se, but you should see it. All it is this evil, wicked, sick, dark stuff. Trump racist, bad. January 6th, Charlottesville. All this tiki torches are reprised again. These frickin' people are so sick and wicked, and they think you're stupid. They think they can throw some meat at you. Like, this is like that Reverend Jeremiah Wright, that Jew hater who supposedly led Barack Hussein Obama to the Lord. That Jew hater, Reverend Jeremiah Wright, when he was asked about a year into Barack Hussein Obama's first tenure, what is it called? His first term. And a black journalist asked him in a parking lot. And so Jeremiah Wright assumed since he was black, he'd be like him and hate the Jews. And the black journalist says, hey, have you talked to Barack Obama? And he goes, no, them Jews won't let me talk to him. Remember that? Them Jews. There you go. Hate the Jews. Free Palestine. Jews are oppressors. People of color are oppressed. Yes, DEI. By the way, real quickly, do you know what the race hustler Al Sharpton did today? He protested. He led his gang of fools and tools, useful idiots, to protest in front of Jewish billionaire who's chiefly responsible for helping. He's not responsible, I should say, but he's one of the chief people for getting that disgrace, incompetence, serial plagiarist, DEI hire, what's her name? Gay, the president at Harvard. Yeah, so he went and he protested at Bill Ackman's house today with his fools. He bust in or whatever. And he says he's not protesting about her. He was asked directly, I heard it today, he was asked directly about it. Hey, Reverend Al, what do you think about her plagiarism accusation of the 50? Well, I'm not here for that. I'm here because he's against DEI. I'm here to protest for DEI at Bill Ackman's house. Get out of here, you twerp, you whatever you want to call it, you race hustler. There you go. All right, next. How angry do you get? How angry do you get when California license plates are in front of you at the stop sign or at the red light or whatever on the highway by you? Maybe, and this is hard for me to say this because you know how mad I get about it. I've told you that many times over the past year or two. Maybe we should not be angry after I tell you what I will tell you about the politics of the Californians invading us and how many of them are coming here. Next. Okay, y'all. So the state movers flock to the most in 2023. What do you think it is? What state did U-Haul report out of all the people that use U-Hauls? There's 2 million of them in North America. Well, not North America. I will say in U.S. and Canada because it doesn't include Mexico. That's right. Texas is the number one state that they're moving to. And look at this, you guys. None of them are moving anywhere but the Sun Belt, the Republican states, the red states. Florida, number 2. North Carolina, number 3. And I know that it's a slight, it's not a toss-up state, but it's close, right? But it's still red state for the most part. For the most part. I'm not a big, deep North Carolina expert, but that's my belief, my understanding. Number 4 is South Carolina. Number 5 is Tennessee. And the number one state moving into Texas is California. The Golden State, more than 817,000 people left California in 2022. 475,000 moved during the same time. And here's the bottom of the list where people are moving to from U-Haul. The bottom of the list, gosh, they're all blue states. Are you surprised? The last place, California. I love that because they're a disaster. Number 49, second to last, Massachusetts. Number 48, my home state of Illinois. Godforsaken crap hole. It's hard for me to say that. Number 47 is New Jersey, shocker. Number 46, Michigan, which could be a toss-up state again. I don't know, but that was quite shocking when Trump won that, wasn't it, in 2016? Dang, y'all. Okay, so I told you that I used to get really mad. Oh, and by the way, U-Haul also released this today separately. This was on WFAA TV Channel 8's site today. U-Haul study, Dallas ranks number 9 as popular moving destination. So Dallas is the 9th most popular moving destination in the entire country as far as cities. Texas is number 1, but Dallas is number 9 in the country. Austin's number 5. College Station, Byron College Station, number 6. What? What's going on? I mean, I know they have A&M. Palm Bay, Melbourne, Florida, number 1 spot. So this is the U-Haul one-way ones. But listen to this, guys. So Palm Bay, Melbourne, number 1. Ocala, Florida, number 2. I'll give you the rest of the list. Here's what I wanted to tell you. I get angry when all these Californians move here. I've been so mad. About 5, 6, 8 years ago, I was asked about it, and I was like, no, I'm not mad. And I bumped into a girl who worked at Starbucks, young lady, and I'm like, she's like, they're so mad. I'm like, I'm not mad. I don't know why they would be. But years later, I'm like, now I know. This is insanity. But guess what? 2 people. One, in the Star Telegram, I think it was the leftist Bud Kennedy, who, it's been a while since he's been on my show, but he's been on my show. He reported some research that said that the majority of the people here that are coming from California are conservative, are Republicans. Number 2, I got this today from a guy. I follow him online. He follows me on Twitter. He follows me as well. Chuck DeVore Texas Policy, I can't remember, it's TPPF, Texas Policy Foundation or something like that. It's a conservative Texas political outfit. And they've polled it, and it depends on the state and time. Generally, the people moving to Texas are a bit more conservative than natives. This was also shown, he says, in a fake news CNN exit poll in the 2018 Cruz O'Rourke race. So there you go. That settles it. I guess I can let go. But here, I want to ask you this. This is a real thing I want to ask you, a real on-the-ground question about this, because you have bumped into Californians, you've met them, you work with them, they're your neighbors, you might hate them, you might love them. I want to hear from you about this. I really do. I want to hear what's going on. Are you like Krok? You're wrong. They've always been good. I know them. They're conservative. And are you one of them? I feel a little bit bad because I beat up so hard on Californians that move here. We did get one guy that called in who moved here with Toyota. And he's like, dude, I am very conservative. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Tell me what your experience is. Do you think most Californians moving here are more conservative than the general population? And what has your experience been with Californians moving here as far as their politics, their love of our state's politics, and over their old state of California? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. We'll take your call. I'm also going to tell you about how many box factories or box places have opened that U-Haul does. They have like a box like locations where they make boxes or whatever, and they store them in warehouses. How many more have they added in Dallas? And then also, how many job gains have we had? Is it possibly the most amount of any metro area in the country? We'll tell you next.